What's up, everybody? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me today, here we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. Okay, so with that in mind, thumbs up this video, subscribe to become a part of the Astro family, and come on in, have a seat, stick around. Okay, so I'm coming to y'all with another celebrity Synastry reading. This has been a rather highly requested one, this time on the likes of Will and Jayda. Okay, so just in case you've been hiding under a rock for the past, I would say a few weeks now, right? Jayda Pinkett Smith has been going on her media tour for her upcoming book. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but she has a book coming out. Much like Will, who I think published his own book on his life, I believe, last year, earlier this year. So now it's Jada's turn, and she's doing an entire media tour. And a lot of the things that she put in her book, a lot of the excerpts from her interviews have been going viral, specifically as it pertains to the inner workings of her relationship with Will. The truth of the matter is the public has grown to put Will and Jayda on this sort of black love, black magic pedestal, okay? And now that Will and Jayda, specifically Jayda, is getting more attention when Jayda shares the inner details of their relationship, because those details go against the image that a lot of people projected onto them, okay? And it makes people uncomfortable because Jayda, in every respect of the word, is just different. She's different. She moves differently. And guess what? Their marriage is also going to reflect that. Their marriage is just different. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. However, due to misogynoir, a lot of the outrage is going to be more so focused on, the woman. But that's just my 2 cents. However, I do want to take a look at their synastry today, just to see if the synastry echoes or if it matches up with a lot of the information that has been shared in regards to the dynamics of their relationship, to get a better insight into the dynamics of their marriage together and how does it function. Is Jayda the bad guy? Does she hate Will's guts? Find out next on Dragon Ball Z. So on one hand, we have Jayda, who was born on September 18th, 1971 at 12:38 p.m. in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, Willard was born September 25th, 1968 at 9:47 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, okay? Now, one of the first things that stood out to me were their sun placements in each other's respective charts. For instance, Jayda's sun is in Will's 5th house of Virgo. Now, from a synastry standpoint, sun 5th house connections tend to produce children. The 5th house directly rules over children. Now, obviously, is that to say every single person you meet whose sun is in your 5th house, you're going to procreate with that person? Context matters, but especially if you're in a romantic situation and that person's sun is in your 5th house, I would say, there is a plausibility, a higher plausibility of that, okay? The 5th house also deals with happiness. It could deal with what a person is passionate about. So if someone's sun is in your 5th house, it could speak to them being like the love of your life, somebody who you have deep, deep love for, someone who brings you joy. So as it pertains to Will and Jayda, I could definitely see Will really, really caring about Jayda. However, I will say that Virgo is a sign that is prone towards dissatisfaction. So this could also denote a deep level of frustration or feeling, especially insecure, okay, in relationships. And this could go either way, on Will's side or Jayda's side, but a very deeply found sense of insecurity that could be fueling that romantic connection as well. And that would be something that could really dampen things. And once again, with Virgo naturally being dissatisfied in nature, now we're getting into trauma bond territory. Okay. Also, Virgo deals with grooming. And because The fifth house could deal with children, but also just youthful influences. This could even point to where, although they don't have a ridiculous age gap between the two, Will is a few years older than Jayda, but it's I don't think it's extreme. However, nonetheless, it could still point to where that component of grooming was still a very important dynamic of their relationship. It just is what it is. Now, on the other hand, Will's sun is in Jayda's 10th house of Libra. Now, this could denote a couple things. Number one, this could point to their marriage being a business decision. Okay, especially if we're talking about that 10th house energy. And this is also a power couple placement, right? So this could speak to Jayda marrying a spouse who is very highly public, highly visible, or a high profile marriage, participating in a high profile marriage. That Libra energy in the 10th house for Jayda could also deal with where her husband is Mr. Congeniality, so to speak, right? The likableness of that Libra energy, the agreeableness. And this is where a lot of the issues are coming into play for her. Because he's a man, yes, but then also he's a very agreeable, likable person publicly. And this is where Will does an excellent job of upholding that traditional Libra archetype, with him being a Libra sun and even Libra South Node, y'all. So, he's very skilled at this. Libra is very masterful when it comes to keeping up a facade, keeping up an image. Now, with this being in Jayda's 10th house, once again, this is going to be like a job where their marriage, they brand their marriage, which they did, and eventually it turns into something like a job, and where there's this sense of keeping up a front or an air, or even where her spouse could be the type of person to keep up a front or keep up an air. However, the truth lies in the fact that there's this opposition occurring to Aries in the 4th house. And this is also where Jayda's Chiron is located. And it could point to the truth behind closed doors in regards to that dynamic actually being a lot more sinister, a lot where Will could be a lot more problematic than what y'all would like to believe, the general public would like to believe. Lots of fights where tensions could ignite, explode, lots of conflict. And when I say fights, I mean this could be verbal, also otherwise. Chiron in that 4th house of Aries for Jayda absolutely signifies that her personal life, her marriage, the inner workings of it may have been very dysfunctional. And where I can see it continuing to be dysfunctional. You could look at this as like a thorn in her side, But nonetheless, with Will's sun in her 10th house, you could look at the 10th house in terms of obligation, right? So that Libra sun in her 10th house, where she feels obliged. Once again, she has her career resting on this. Now, you do see this in charts of people who can meet their spouse in the workplace, but also where there is a certain paternal, fatherly influence that the partner can provide. Usually there's an age difference, between like a vast age difference between the couples. But also where, themes surrounding like control, you know what I'm saying? Censorship around the marriage, where there's a lot of that. Now, while we already hanging out in the 10th house, okay, you have Will's sun forming a conjunction to Jayda's Venus. She has her Venus in Libra, okay? Now, this aspect signifies their marriage. It signifies them having a very public marriage, so it just reinforces that energy signature there. But it also could even point to where this was a very important decision security-wise, specifically for Jayda, okay? Even financially, right? You could also even point to this as like them having children together as well. also reinforced with Jayda having Taurus in the 5th house. This could actually make her extremely fertile, which is interesting because somebody said that, like, she mentioned in the book, and feel free to, research for yourself, but they were saying that she mentioned that she knew that she was pregnant, like, right away, like, right when it happened. Like, just speaking to how fertile she was. But, they actually have a lot of conjunctions together. And when a couple has a lot of conjunctions together, it's easier to understand why they were able to create such a brand around their marriage. This could be like two people even operating as one, where two people are very much on the same page in either like their approach to the relationship, or where it gives one band, one sound kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying? Or where they could be a lot more similar and alike than, once again, people give them credit for, instead of trying to villainize one person over the other. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, you have Jada's Venus also forming a conjunction to Will's Uranus. And Uranus in the 10th house of Libra, straight up, is a marriage where two people are living their separate lives. At best. It could also just even deal with where, there could be, everybody in the marriage may not be 100% heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? Which those rumors have been around. We're not going to lie. This could also deal with an unconventional marriage, which could encompass different components of, like, whether, people said that they've been swingers. Once again, there have been rumors about them being gay, and it also doesn't help from Jada's standpoint that she does have that Aquarius North Node, that Mars Aquarius North Node conjunction in her 2nd house, which could absolutely point to where in this lifetime, maybe she does need to just embrace the fact that she may very well be you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Of the Queen Latifah persuasion. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, with Will's Uranus conjoined to her Venus, Will could also very well have a lot of that same energy, and people have, rumored his sexuality to great lengths. It's been up for debate and under speculation for a long time. But this conjunction could just reinforce them having more of a friendship or a marriage of convenience. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we talk about that 10th house Libra influence, especially Uranus here, it's to uphold an image in a greater way, serve towards like their career, their legacy. Like, this marriage is being used to brand their legacy and their career. Another way to look at this Uranus-Venus conjunction in Jada's 10th house of Libra would be like outside people, other people interfering with their marriage. This could even be whether it be other women. And once again, it reintroduces this idea of, them dealing with other people, basically. And with Will's Uranus being involved, he may have been the one, honestly, even the one who introduced this kind of dynamic, or, a person who really embraced his energy, where he was doing him, basically. He's been doing him. He's been doing him. Now, Venus in Libra does really well with matching energy. And of course, she does have that Aquarius North Node and Mars there too. But Will could definitely be with the shits and a lot more for this way of living than, once again, people may really understand or give him credit for. Because the public, there's a certain demographic of the public that likes to view Will as like this victim in the marriage and not an active, willing participant. This Uranus-Venus conjunction speaks to him actually being like spearheading it, him being very much in charge of their alternative lifestyle, as he is alternative as they come. Okay? He's just as alternative as they come, but he just does a really good job at hiding it and putting on airs. You know what I'm saying? However, You could also, in the spirit of other people, another source of backlash that Jayda gets is in regards to like this eternal three-way love affair between she, Will, and Tupac. Okay, Jayda and Tupac grew up, were very close, and for whatever reason did not end up in a romantic relationship, although it has been speculated that they, were hooking up and whatever, okay? Tupac dies, she marries Will, and now, she talks about him, and people get annoyed about it. Now, I will say, when you look at the fact that Jayda has her Venus conjoined to Will's sun, because Libra is one of those signs that, thrives off of comparison. I have no doubt in my mind that not only has Will compared himself to Tupac, but Jayda has also compared Will to Tupac. That's very Venus and Libra. The Venus Libra girlies know what I'm talking about, okay? And this is because, Venus and Libra thrives off of knowing that it made the best decision when it comes to like love and romance and a partner that they want to be with. Venus also deals with standards too, so you could look at this as like, if Tupac set the standard for what she wanted in a man, her ideal for a man, I have no doubt that she probably compared Will to him, but it is what it is. They also have Jayda's Venus in opposition to Will's Chiron. Once again, just reinforcing just how dysfunctional the marriage really is. Like I said, more so behind closed doors. A lot of it could do with just chronic selfishness. And believe it or not, it could be on Will's side too. Like I said, that chronic selfishness with his Chiron in her fourth house. He's a lot more problematic than y'all think. Her Chiron is in her fourth house as well. But, so that just reaffirms where it's like, they're always butting heads, basically. They're always butting heads behind the scenes when it comes to how to, how they want to live, how they want to express themselves and show, they want different things. But what they do agree on is, their participation in their dedication, the commitment to the marriage itself. You have Jayda's Neptune in that 12th house of Sagittarius squaring Will's Mars. I would be surprised if she was even sexually attracted to Will. This could even just deal with like her trying to avoid that part of their lives or putting a lot of distance between herself and him. And this could even come through like traveling, always being going. Same thing with her Jupiter in that 12th house of Sagittarius squaring his Mars as well. Now, this could also deal with like where when they do deal with each other, she's definitely the one with the strap. This gives big strap energy. This is because, Sagittarius, even though technically Scorpio rules the genitals, right, in the literal sense, but Sagittarius and moreover Jupiter is ruling planet, can speak to it deals with semen, but it could, by proxy of that, it could also even kind of speak to a man's peen-ween, or where there could be the tendency to like worship it, if that makes sense. And so in this situation, I could definitely see, especially with Mars and Virgo being very receptive, where Will could take the more passive role, and Jayda just gives big strap. Like it gives like she's the more dominant one. Jupiter, she is the more demanding one. She requires more leeway. Yeah, interesting. And Mars in Aquarius is also really big on like sex toys, and she has that Mars in Aquarius conjoined to her North Node. Y'all, then Aries in the 5th house, she probably acts just like a dude. She's probably so dominant, but that's neither here nor there. Something else that's very important to point out in Will and Jayda's marriage, aside from the Pluto-Sun conjunction, so his Pluto is conjoined to her Sun in Virgo, and then Jayda's Pluto is conjoined to Will's Sun. Now, this also creates for a soulmate kind of aspect, but also like a very, once again, trauma bound one, where two people are just bound together and are highly influential over others' lives. Now with Will's Pluto, especially at the 29th degree of Virgo, conjoining Jayda's sun, once again, it could be to Jayda's detriment, trying to, get her to mold her and groom her into his image, or where she feels like overpowered, overshadowed, or once again, that theme of just inferiority, insecurity, or just dissatisfaction with the dynamic, right? But then also, Will wanting to stay married no matter what, right? This is a theme that if you paid attention to like his earlier interviews, he even spoke to being like this with his first wife, where he is someone who feels like divorce is not an option, which is so on brand with Libra. Once again, Libra rules marriage. But he also has it really bad with him also being a Libra South node, okay? And this could speak to where Will is very much operating in his South node energy of being somebody who is so embedded, where so much of his identity, so much of who he is going to be tied up in his marriage. The South Node also deals with like just unhealthy attachments. Will being unhealthily attached to marriage. And, that is a unevolved Libra quality, to lose yourself in other people, to lose yourself in a marriage, to cling on to a marriage, to, overgive or, people please your way into situations. And I think Jayda did speak a lot about how Will would do these gestures, these grand gestures, as a way of people pleasing. And to be clear, y'all, people pleasing is a form of manipulation. So once again, this is why you can't take things at face value when we talk about Libra all the time. But nonetheless, this could also speak to where he's so willing, because he's so embedded in this South Node energy, to just be married for the sake of having ties to someone. The only reason he divorced his former wife was because he got with Jayda. So he's somebody who doesn't, and he talks about how, the idea of divorce, it seems like a failure. And it's not a coincidence that all of this is coming up as, he approaches his, lunar nodal return, with transiting North Node currently being in Aries. And this is why themes surrounding divorce and marriages, breaking up, it feels like it's breakup season, divorce season. That's why this energy signature is prevalent. And Will is just resisting it. That's all it is. He's resisting it. He's not going with the flow. If he was going with the flow, and maybe depending on how y'all want to look at it, I don't know. I'm going to say they're not, because if they were going with the flow, if he was going with the flow of his Aries North Node, he would be a lot more comfortable standing independently. And I feel like Jayda could be more ready and willing to live in that energy with her Aquarius North Node and Mars conjunction. That could be her coming out the closet. That could be her just establishing her independence, even financially, with it being in the second house, where she just kind of wants to create this new standard of living for herself. She wants to, be herself, and it's going to be very different from maybe what people are used to, or from what's accepted in the industry, or what's going to make her likable. This deals with controversy. Aquarius North Nodes can be notorious for receiving lots of controversy. She has her Neptune forming in opposition to her Saturn in that 7th house of Gemini. Natally, that could deal with her receiving a lot of public humiliation, backlash after speaking on Will, even just her doing these interviews or writing these books. And I mean, to be fair, Saturn in the 7th house of Gemini could also speak to her using her marriage to exploiting her marriage in order to push these books. But, once again, Will has done it too. But if we're talking about Jayda, then, that's there too. However, she's always going to be met with, the public shame due to that Neptune opposition in her 12th house whenever she wants to put the relationship on blast, or, that's people always saying you're embarrassing your husband, with the stuff that she says. Almost where she could share too much, to her detriment, her own detriment. But if that's what makes her feel so, liberated with that Aquarius North Node, Aquarius is going to do what it wants to do. And so, a lot of times they're ahead of their time. The rest of us just kind of got to catch up to it. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the video. I didn't want to make it too long. I just wanted to go over a couple of important components that could better illustrate the dynamic between Will and Jayda. So if you enjoyed, make sure you thumbs up this video. And if you would like to purchase your own astrology-based reading, feel free to contact me at astrowerld, astrowerld, at gmail.com for a booking. But you can also feel free to book on Booksy. Okay, all the information is in the description box. Okay, so make sure you take care of yourself, practice unconditional self-love so you can love others. And I will see y'all in the next video.